class. So today we're going to be looking at GPS 16, the slope-intercept equation of a line. In this section, we're going to be talking about some of the things I mentioned in the previous GPS, which is, positive slope, so a negative slope. So here it says describe and draw a sketch to indicate the general shape of lines with a positive slope. So as you saw from the previous GPS, positive slopes all look like this. Okay, pretty much, whenever you have a line that's increasing, right? These are all examples of lines that have positive slope, right? You look at it from left to the right. If it's going up from left to right, then it is increasing or positive slope. Okay. And then the next part, they want us to draw a sketch to indicate the negative slope, right? So they want you to draw some lines that have negative slope. So like we said, if you have a line that's decreasing from left to right, that's a negative slope. So stuff like this, right? Lines that look like this, um, lines like this. Okay, these are all examples of negative slope when the line is decreasing from left to right. All right. So here they want us to just indicate whether the line is positive slope or negative slope. So this should be pretty simple, right? This is negative. Okay, let's abbreviate negative. This guy is going to be positive. This guy is positive, right? Increasing from left to right. This one is going to be negative, decreasing. This one is negative, decreasing. This one is positive, increasing. Okay. Okay, and let's skip all this. Okay. So in this section, we're going to talk about finding equations of lines. All right. So first thing, in order to find an equation of a line, we have to first find the slope. So let's find the slope first. So let's call this guy x1, let's call this guy y1, let's call this guy x2, let's call this guy y2. Okay, and then we find the slope. So if you remember, you need to memorize slope formula. What's the slope formula? M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, you have to memorize that, remember? And now plug everything in. So y2 is going to be 3 minus negative 1 divided by 4 minus negative 4, right? So remember, negative turns into a positive, negative and negative turns into a positive. So essentially that becomes 3 plus 1 divided by 4 plus 4, which is equal to 4 over 8, which if we reduce, right, divide top and bottom by 2, sorry, by 4, right, you want to pick the largest number, 4, that's 1 half. Okay, so our slope here is m equals 2 a half. Now, the next question asks, write the equation in the slope-intercept form. So there's really two ways to do this. Some of you might have learned to use y equals mx plus b to find the equation in slope-intercept form, but I don't like to use this formula because it doesn't always work, all right? A better formula to use, okay, which I want you to memorize, okay, so there's another formula you have to memorize. The other formula I want you to memorize is this formula, which is called the point slope form. Okay, point slope formula. Now the point slope formula looks like this. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay, that's the point slope formula. So you have to memorize this. Now, when do we use the point slope formula? Whenever we are looking for the equation of a line. So whenever they ask for an equation of a line, we use the point slope formula. So how do we use the point slope formula? Well, you're just going to substitute. So there's only a few values you need to substitute. You need to substitute y1, you need to substitute m, and you need to substitute x1. All right, so this y and this x doesn't change. So let's see how this works. So again, the first y doesn't change, so we just get y minus, now it's y1. Well, we have it right here, right? We labeled it y1 over here. y1 is negative 1. Okay, equals to m. All right, we know m. We found it, right? M is right here. right? We just found it before. M is a half. So that's M times x minus x1. What's x1? X1 is right here, right? X1 is -4. So it'll look like that. Okay? So then negative and negative turn into a positive. So that's really y plus 1 equals to 1/2 times x, and then this negative become a plus 4. And then we distribute our slope. So that becomes y plus 1 equals to, now 1/2 times x is just a half x. And then 1/2 times 4, let's do that on the side. So how do we do 1/2 times 4? Basically, we change the 4 into a fraction. So we change the 4 into a fraction, 4 over 1. And the way we multiply fractions is you just multiply straight across. Okay, that's how you multiply fractions. If you remember from the previous GPSs, when we add and subtract fractions, we need common denominators. But when we multiply fractions, we just multiply straight across. So we do not need common denominators when we multiply our fractions. We only need common denominators when we add and subtract. So again, if we multiply our fractions, you multiply straight across. So you say 1 times 4 is 4, and then 2 times 1 is 2. And then you just divide. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's it. You just get positive 2. So, oops, I forgot the x here. So that's really 1/2 x, right? Because 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. And then 1/2 times 4 is positive 2. Okay, now we solve for y, minus 1 to both sides. And there you go, that's our equation. Our equation is y equals to 1/2 x plus 1. Okay, that's our equation of the line. And we can put that in here. Y is equal to half x plus 1. Okay, so that's how we do it. And technically, notice that we plugged in the point we used, right? The point we used for the formula, y1 and x1, right? We used this point, right? You can technically use this point if you want to. Okay, you can technically use this as x1 and y1. It doesn't matter which point you pick. So you can use -4, -1, or you could have used 4, 3. So it's up to you. You'll get the same answer with either point. Okay? So I'll probably do some problems using the second point, and I'll do some problems using the first one. So let's look at the next problem. Also, they want us to plot the points, right? Graph the points. So our first point was -4, -1, right? So -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -4, -1. I'm down here. That's -4, -1. The other point was 4, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. So here's 4, 3. Let's label that. So where am I? Oh. So this guy is -4, -1, and this guy is 4, 3. All right, and then let's plot the point. Okay, how's that? That's pretty good. Okay, now they want us to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So remember, what are the x and y-intercepts? The y-intercept is where your graph crosses the y-axis. Where does my graph cross the y-axis? It crosses the y-axis right here. What's that coordinate? That guy is 0, 1. Now, what's my x-intercept? So it looks like it's right here, but my line, you see how my line is a little bit off? But if you plotted it very accurately on your notebook with a straight ruler, it should probably be over there, which turns out to be 0, -2. It should be exact when you're when you have a ruler and stuff. So obviously I don't have a ruler here to make it exactly straight and pass through both points. But it should be about 0, 1 for the y-intercept, and then 0. Oh, I'm sorry, not 0, -2. That's the x-intercept, right? The x value is -2, so that's actually 0, -2, 0. Yep, that's the correct one. value is -2, y is 0. Okay. Also remember, how do you find y-intercepts? X is always 0. The opposite one 0. How do you find x-intercepts? The opposite one is 0. The y value is 0. Okay. All right, let's continue. So same situation here. First, you want to find the slope. Call this guy x1, y1. Call this guy x2, y2. Okay, let's find the slope. So the slope here, again, write down all the formulas. That's how you memorize them. Okay, that's equal to 8 minus -4 divided by -1. Oops, let me do it. Divide by -1 minus 2. Okay, so that's equal to, this is plus, right? Minus minus turns into plus. That's really 8 plus 4, which is 12, divided by -3. 12 divided by -3 is -4. Okay, so that's my slope. So m is -4. Now, I gotta find the equation of the line. So, oops, that's my dog. So how do I find the equation of a line? Formula is y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. Okay, and now plug in one of the points for y1 and x1. And again, you can use either point, okay? You can choose to use 2, -4, or you can choose to use -1, 8. It does not matter which point you pick. But just to show you, I will pick the second point. I will pick -1 and 8. You can choose to use 2, -4. You get the same answer. Just make sure you plug it in correctly. So this would give us y minus, what's y1? Well, in this case, y1, I'm going to use 8 for y1, right? That's 8 equals to m is -4, right? Right, that's -4 from before. That's your slope, m. Times x minus, what's x1? I'm going to choose to use -1 for x1. Okay, so it looks like that. So what do? We distribute. Let's rewrite this over, and we're going to distribute the -4, right? -4x, right? -4 times x is -4x. -4 times, actually, well, okay, actually, before I distribute, let's simplify a little bit. Okay, before I distribute, let's simplify this, because here negative turns into a positive, right? So let's do that first. Okay, so we're going to say that's +1. Now we're going to distribute. Okay, so if we distribute, we're going to get y minus 8 equals to -4x minus 4. Right? -4x times x is -4x. -4 times a +1 is a -4. And then we plus 8 to both sides. So y is equal to -4x plus 4. There you go. That's our equation of the line. Oh, also, one way to check all your answers, right, is to plug both points. Okay, so technically, if you want to check your answer, you can take your 2 points. You can take negative. You can take 2, -4, and you can take -1, 8, and plug them in one at a time, and then they should be equal. Okay. For example, if that's my answer, let's just do a quick check if you want to check it. Right. So we can check that -2, -4 is a point on the line by plugging it in. Okay. So again, this is our answer, right? That's the answer we got. Y equals to -4x plus 4. So we plug it in, that would give us -4 equals to -4 times 2 plus 4, which would be -4 equals to -8 plus 4. And then, see, it checks out. -4 is equal to -8 plus 4, which is -1. See, that works. And then we can check the other point, which was -1, 8. Now we can plug it in, so it'd be 8 equals to -4 times -1. So it'd be 8 equals to -4 times -1 plus 4. And then that'd be 8 equals to -4 times a -1 is a +4 plus 4. So see, we get 8 equals 8. See, it works. Okay, and you can do that for all the points. You know, whenever you get your equation of the line, you can always plug in both the given points, and they should be the same. That's how you check. All right, so let's so they want to do the same thing, right? They want to find out the x and y intercepts. So plot both points. We have 2, -4. So 1, 2, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. right there, right? 2, negative 4. And our other point is negative 1, 8. So negative 1 is over here, 8 is up here. Okay. And let's connect the dots. Again, try to do it accurately using a ruler or something. Right? I don't have a ruler on my computer, so obviously I can't. But you try to use a ruler. Right over here. Close enough, I think. Okay. So if you did it accurately, you'll see that I have a y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis right here. What's that coordinate? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 0, 4. Okay. And we have an x-intercept right here, which is probably 1, 0. And I'm saying probably because my line is not that straight. All right. When you do it at home, make sure your line is straight. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention again. Always check the slope, right? This line is decreasing, isn't it? So then my slope should have been negative. And it is. See, slope is negative 4. I have a decreasing line. And the one before, we forgot to check. This is a increasing line. And look at my slope. My slope is positive a half. Right? Slope is positive a half. And my line is increasing. My slope here is negative 4. And my line is decreasing. Okay? Let's go on. So same situation here with all these problems, right? Find the equation. So there you go. See, so when you find the equation of a line. Remember, if we're finding the equation of a line, we need to use the point slope formula. Okay, we need to use y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. But remember, we need to first figure out the slope though, okay? So when you use the point slope formula, you need to first find the slope. So let's find the slope. So m is equal to y2, which is 8, minus y1, which is 2, divided by x2, which is negative 1, minus x1, which is 1. And let's break that out. That'll give us a 6 divided by negative 2, right, which gives us negative 3. So we have a slope of negative 3. So now we plug everything into the formula. So we're going to get y minus, what's y1? We can use this one if you want for y1. So that's going to be 2 equals 2. But again, it doesn't matter which one you use, right? You can use 1, 2, or you can use negative 1, 8. It's up to you. But I'll just use 1, 2. So y1 is 2 equals to m, slope, which is negative 3, times x minus x1, which is 1. Okay, now I'm going to distribute. So I will get y minus 2 equals to negative 3x plus 3. And then we're going to add 2 to both sides. So then we get y equals to negative 3x plus 5. There you go. That's the equation of the line. And again, if you want to check, you can plug in both those points and check. Okay. Right, so same thing for the next one, right? Find the equation. So I'm going to need my point slope formula, y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. All right, but in order to do that, I got to first find the slope. So what's my slope? Y2, so it's negative 9, y2 minus y1, which is negative 1, divided by x2, which is negative 2, minus 2. So negative negative is going to give us a positive. So this is going to give us negative 9 plus 1 divided by negative 4, which is really negative 8 divided by negative 4, right? Yep, which is equal to positive 2. Okay, so m is positive 2. Plug everything back into our point slope formula. So again, pick a point. I'll just use the first one again. Okay, 2, negative 1. That doesn't, like I said, doesn't matter. Normally I'll pick the one with the smaller numbers, right? I'd rather use a negative 1 than use a negative 9. So y minus y1 equals to slope, which is m, which is 2, times x minus x1. Okay, a negative negative turns into positive, so that's really y plus 1 equals to, distribute the 2. So we're going to get 2x minus 4 minus 1 to both sides, right? Solving the equation. y is equal to 2x minus 5. Okay, that's our equation. All right, let's do the last two. All right, and for the last two, same thing. You can pause the video right now and try it on your own, okay? And then you can check afterwards. So let's just do it. So hopefully you can do it on your own. So again, we're finding the equation. So we're gonna need the point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. But first we need the slope. So what's the slope? M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, that's equal to, and again, negative become a positive, so it's going to be 6 plus 2 over negative 8. 6 plus 2 is going to give us a 8, right? 6, 7, 8, yep, 8 divided by negative 8, which is equal to negative 1. So slope is negative 1. So plug everything back into the formula. So y minus, and again, let's use the first point again. You can use the second one if you want. Negative 2 equals 2. Slope is negative 1. So negative 1 times x minus 5. Negative become positive. So y plus 2 equals 2. Distribute. We get negative 1x. But remember, we don't have to write the 1, right? So it's just a negative 1x plus 5 minus 2 to both sides. So we get, so where's my, oops, okay. So this cancels out, and we're left with y equals to negative x plus 3. Okay, there you go. Right, last one. Again, question says, find the equation. So, point slope formula, y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. But first, we need to find the slope. Well, what's the slope? Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's equal to negative 10 divided by, this guy turns into a plus. So that's really 1 plus 4, which is 5. Negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. So slope is negative 2. Pick a point. This time I'm going to use this point to plug in, okay? So I'm going to say y minus negative 2 equals to negative 2 times x minus 1. And again, if you want to practice, use this one to practice, okay? And you're going to get, and you should see, you get the same answer as me. So why did I use 1, negative 2? Like I said, normally you want to pick the point that has the smaller numbers, right? That's why I picked 1, negative 2. But you can use negative 4, 8. You should get the same answer. So let's continue. I will get y plus 2 equals to distribute. That's going to give me negative 2x plus 2 minus 2 to both sides. That cancels out. So y is equal to negative 2x, and then 2 minus 2 is 0. So that's it. Nothing. It's gone. Okay, there you go. That's my equation of the line. Okay, so again, if you have any questions about anything, you can post on the discussion forum or rewatch the video again. Pause it where you're having trouble. Make sure you follow. Okay, that's it. So I'll see you guys next time.